Everyone, hey, it's Sam this morning. I got off the phone with two of my really close friends talking about the coronavirus, and then I had a coaching call with my Profit First coach. So we were all kind of brainstorming different things about the way people are handling this, and there's a few things that I wanted to throw out there real quick because it's just how I handle things. And someone told me the other day, they said, "Hey, I've never seen you have a bad day," and I said, "Well, I've had bad days, but I try to accomplish things during the bad times the same as the good, and it kind of keeps me motivated. It keeps things going." So I wrote down a few notes that I took. You can see in the narrative about how to handle and how to cope with the coronavirus. Right now, businesses are being affected very largely, mine as well. I'm here in my office today. I told everyone else to stay home. I've disinfected everything in our office, and I'm the only one here using it. So I'm quarantined. I haven't talked to anyone coming in the office. Actually, the streets are pretty bare. So I know there's a lot of fear around business, and there's a lot of fear around finances and things of that nature. So not a lot that I can specifically say on an individual basis, but a few things that I know gets me through. And I talked to I have three sons, for those of you who know me, 13, 15, and 17 years old. They're stuck at home. And I say we always have to find the silver linings. My 17-year-old, he's a junior in high school, and obviously this is affecting him. His AP classes are changing a little bit, and he might miss some college credit, and he was bummed. And I said, well, of course you're bummed. I get it. But think about this. Let me see. Think about this from the standpoint of getting some comments here. I want to make sure that this is going out. So anyway, I said, think about this from the standpoint of you're a junior. What if you're a senior? And if you're a senior, what would I say? Well, you could be a freshman. So a few things to note. When I went to Iraq in 2004, and I wrote a little narrative about this, but my biggest fear wasn't so much of being in Iraq. It was what my mind was going to do to me for being in Iraq in the down times, because you do have a lot of times that are exciting or scary, or you're busy. I think busy is good, but more importantly, it was the times that I wasn't doing anything that I was most afraid of, because that was the times when I focused on the negativity. I'm away from my family, and that's when your mind can get you in trouble. So I said to my guys, who are all much younger than me, when I went to Iraq, I was 32, and I think most of our platoon was 20 years, or right around that 20 years time frame. We did have some teenagers, believe it or not, over there. So I said, this year is going to wreck you if you don't have a plan in place. And that is, on a daily basis, you have to get up and you do have to do specific things that are required. But there's a lot of other things that you're going to have some freedoms, and you need to either, come up with a plan, quit smoking, have a better body, read books, get some education, do those kind of things. And I talked to a friend of mine who was actually in Iraq with me. He called me this morning to say, hey, I'm curious what you're doing today to kind of get through this process. And I said, I'm in my office, and I'm taking full advantage of this time to do things that I wasn't able to do on a regular basis. So I'm writing a digital course for Profit First, and I was a little bit behind, and now I'm caught up on schedule, and now I'm going to be completely finished ahead of schedule. And so it's a great opportunity to do those things. I also I went to Wake Up Warrior. For those of you guys who have heard of Wake Up Warrior, it's a pretty intense business course for men. Actually, it's not about business at all, but it talks about the four pillars in a man's world, or what they should look like. And those four pillars are body, being, balance, and business. So I'm thinking, I get up relatively early every morning. I don't want to break that routine. I've had 5 or 6 days, I think, where I've completely blown my routine. I've slept in, I've stayed up late, I've watched stuff, and I kind of allowed myself that time. But now it's time to get back and get busy, because what I don't want to do is come out of this situation being so far behind, or I have to create new habits to replace the bad habits I've created here. So back on schedule with getting up early. Working out, yeah, I can't go to Orange Theory because, the gyms are all closed in Ohio. But I know that I'm doing yoga today, P90X yoga with my wife. So I started to think about, what am I eating? I fasted on Sunday, which was really difficult for me. It's probably difficult during any time, but especially when I'm stuck at home beside my refrigerator. So I'm creating habits or situations where this particular 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it's going to turn out to be, there's some things I can't control, but my attitude is definitely something I can control. So around body, around being, and being is simply your spirituality. And a lot of people relate that to religion, and I certainly don't. What I relate it to is, what am I thinking in my head? I do box breathing every morning. I try to meditate. I'm not very good at meditation. My mind tends to wander a lot, but I still try it. So I do box breathing every morning. I don't want to get away from that habit. So those are the things I want to do. I know people that are really good at meditation or affirmations, whatever it is. So that's your being, and then your balance is the relationships that you have with everybody around you. And people go, well, it's hard to create that relationship or have that relationship. And I go, not really. We have text, we have email. I've been on Zoom calls. I've been on more Zoom calls, I think, in the last 4 or 5 days than I ever have in a typical week. And the reason being is because we can't meet in person. But I also said, what a great opportunity to reach out. You know, we're so used to rubbing shoulders with everybody, and now if we're doing quarantine right, we shouldn't be. So I said, I want to be able to see people, hear people, talk to people. I know another business associate of mine, Christina, is having on Mondays, on the whatever Monday or Tuesday night this is, she typically has a meeting. So we can't have a meeting, but we're going to have a Zoom meeting. So there's great opportunities for us to do that from a technical advantage, but also pick up the phone, call. My mother and father-in-law, they're in quarantine. I can't get to see them as often as we'd like. So we pick up the phone, we call them, write letters. You know, you can go old school, write a letter. I think right now, if I got a letter, a handwritten letter in the mail, I'd probably be pretty happy for that. So those are things that we can solidify those relationships. Reach out to other people that are in your businesses. I don't know how this will affect my business long term. I've already had some cancellations. Some of my coaching clients are on hold right now. We're not billing anyone this entire month for any of our coaching because I know that businesses are going to suffer. That in turn is going to make me suffer a little bit, but we'll figure it out. What I do want to know is I want to let those people know that when this is over, I'm still here for them and I still care about them. And those are the things. And I've gotten those phone calls. Hey, how are you doing? What's real estate doing? We don't know. We don't know what the next few weeks are going to bring, but it's certainly reassuring when other people that are in similar situations or better situations reach out. And then balance it's when we put our balance and our body and our being together, our business does thrive. So my suggestion is try to get on a schedule that's going to create a situation where you come out of here better. The first few days, now, listen, I think I'm funny on occasion. So I've done maybe 1 million memes in the last few days, and private message memes and private group memes and all these different things. But and that's a big part of me, but I don't take this lightly either. So my whole thing is I'm looking at how to make my business stronger when I come out of here. How can I be stronger in body and mind when I come out of here? So those are just some good coping methods that I think are important and I think a lot of us miss. So anyway, that was my food for thought for the day. I've seen a lot of other people going live. I think people are starting to get a little bit stir crazy, and this is the point where the first few days is always kind of easy, but then as we get into this mundane routine, it's important to come up with a workout schedule. Reach out to me if you want to get together on a Zoom call. If you want to talk about your business, if you want to talk, I am doing the Profit First. We had to cancel 2 major events, but we'll reschedule those. But if you want to talk about profit first in your business, if you want to talk about networking, if you want to talk about being lonely, there's a good friend of mine on the east side. It's him and his cats. And he was pretty funny about it. But I think that there's also some worry there, because if you're locked down by yourself, that's got to be pretty tough. I've got my 3 sons, my wife, and a brand new puppy at home to keep my attention. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of reach out and let people know it is going to be okay, but it's going to take some work to get there to keep from going crazy. So hope this helps somebody, and you guys have a good day.